Assalamualaikum guys, found back again with another video, and today we are going to be looking at two functions of Excel: Vlookup and Hlookup. Vlookup vertical lookup, Hlookup horizontal lookup. Now let's first look at the Vlookup. Supposing this incidentally is the same table that we had for the speedometer video that we did a while back. So what the VLOOKUP does is, supposing you wanting to find out the designation of a particular employee or the salary that particular employee is earning, instead of manually going through and seeing what the, say for example, what designation does Chris have, or what is his salary. The VLOOKUP and the Hlookup formulas help you here. So let's first start with the VLOOKUP. Essentially what this does is, you have the employees' names in the first column, designation in the second column, and the salaries in the third column. Now we are going to be, we'll put in the name of the employee that we are trying to find information on over here, and here is where we will put in the function, the VLOOKUP function. Now what the function would do is, it would go back to this table here, find a match for Tom, and grab his designation and bring it here. And the second example, what we'll do is, it will match the employee name in this first column here, and grab his salary and bring it over. So here's how we would actually implement that. Let's start with the VLOOKUP. As soon as you type VL, the Microsoft Excel gives you the full name. You just double click on it, and then it gives you the hint as to how to type it in. The first element is the lookup value. So it's asking you what should it be looking for, and the second, where to look look for this value, and the third would be which column. So over here, this is where the names would be. It would be trying to find the names in this column, and then the what we want to fetch is the designation. So the lookup value, we'll assume that in the F2 cell we'll put in the name of the person, name of the employee. Now it's saying table array. So where is the data that's from which it needs to fetch these values? So that's sitting over here. So we highlight this, and then the column index. So this, the employee name is column number 1. Right now we're trying to pull his designation. So this is column number 1, and this is column number 2. So we'll put in 2, and then the last thing that we need to put in is put in a true or false. Now if we are wanting a approximate match, anything close to Tom would do, we'll go with true. But if you want, if you want that it needs to be exact name as Tom, it cannot be Timothy or whatever, then we'll put in false. So if you see, Tom is a manager. Now if we change the value of this cell, and say for example we put in Chris, now over here you see Chris is assistant manager. So once we put in Chris over here, it should go and find Chris from this column and then pull his designation. So if I hit enter here, there you go, assistant manager. Now let's do another example, and this time what we'll do is we'll pull his salary. So we do VLOOKUP. We are looking for this data from, the lookup value is in the F2, and we'll use the same table, but this time instead of column number 2, we are going to be fetching the value from column number 3, which is the salary column. But 3, and then we want an exact match, enter. So you see, Chris is an assistant manager making $24,000 a year. Now, if we change this Chris back to Tom, he would be, his designation should go back to manager and salary should go to 35,000. So if I hit enter, there you go. Okay. Now, that's how I would do a VLOOKUP with the exact match. Now, let's suppose we have somebody who the name sort of is like Tom. So if we have, say, Tommy, the first match it found was Tom, so that's fine. Now I'm going to just go ahead and change this to, say, for example, I'll just put in my own name here. And instead of false, this time I'm going to change this to true. And I'm going to change this to true. And another thing that you have to watch out for is when you are doing a approximate match, then this data needs to be sorted alphabetically. So we'll go here, sort, custom sort based on the employee name. Okay, there you go. Now, when you say Tom, the first approximate match it found was Todd. Instead of the exact match that we had earlier, the first closest match to Tom it found, oops, my phone just messaged me. Anyway, so the first match it found for Tom was in Todd, and who was an assistant manager making 24,000. Okay, so that's essentially what you would do with the exact match or a approximate match. Now, if we were to change this back to false, basically meaning I'm looking for an exact match. Hang on a second. Okay. This will change. There you go. Now, since I put in false, that means I am looking for an exact match. They are, there is no Tom here. I changed that to Tommy. Remember? So if I were to change this back to Tom, now it will find that, because it is what the false does is, false option in the lookup does is it's looking for an exact match. So that's how you would do a VLOOKUP. Now let's go to HLOOKUP. We'll go shift to this sheet here. Now I've got the same table, but this time what I've done is I've turned it around 90 degrees. So I've got employee names in the first row, designation in the second row, and salary in the third row. So essentially what it is we've got an employee. The designation that he has is just below his name, and below that you have his salary. Now if you want to find out a particular employee's designation or his salary, you cannot use a VLOOKUP formula, because think about it. If we want to find out what designation does Tom have and what salary he's earning, if we were to do a VLOOKUP, well, it's going to find this first one, and as the first example, this column, the next column over was the designation, and the column over was the salary. So if you do a VLOOKUP, his designation will show up as Bill, his salary will show up as Chris. So obviously we can't do that because his designation is below his name. Okay, and in the VLOOKUP formula we were looking vertically. Here we'll be doing a search horizontally. So let's start with HLOOKUP, and we are going to be the value we'll be looking would be sitting in A6, and this is the table that we would be drawing our data from. And now it's saying which row you want, as opposed to VLOOKUP we specify which column. Here we'll be specifying which row you want to pull the data from. And since we are looking at the designation, it is row number 2. And then same idea, false gives you an exact match, true gives you an approximate match. Enter. Now you're getting this error here is because this cell is empty right now. So you need to put in an employee's name for it to actually go and pull the data. So let's put in Tom. Tom is a manager. Okay. If you were to put this as Chris, suddenly you see assistant manager. Okay. So that's how you would use the HLOOKUP. And if you were to pull his salary, you would do HLOOKUP column and the third row. So you've got Chris as doing 24,000. Designation is assistant manager. Now if you change that back to Tom, designation is manager and salary is 35,000. So that's how you would use the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP to look up values in tables. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe.